Welcome to the next prophecy update. Sorry for the delay in videos lately. I've had some extreme technical difficulties with my computer. Anyways, today we're going to be covering the weather and a couple of things that are going on with some of the animals worldwide. Alright, first article. Mysterious disease imperils millions of bats in the U.S. and Canada. Mysterious illness is threatening the bat population in Northern America, and scientists believe a fungus is to blame. The bat death rate is so severe that it could cause one species to vanish within 16 years. Such a loss could hurt the agricultural and forestry industries because bats help to pollinate plants and eat their body weight in bugs each night. The spread of the disease makes it very challenging and distressing. This is one of the worst wildlife crises we have faced in North America. Radioactive borers rampaging through Germany. The problem has been aggravated by lingering effects of the Chernobyl disaster from 25 years ago. A large portion of the wildlife are contaminated by radioactivity. Poisonous radiation leaves the beast completely inedible, and the phenomenon is becoming expensive for the German government in the last hunting season. Though the Chernobyl explosion happened a quarter of a century ago, high levels of radiation remain in the region's vegetation, leaving no end in sight for the issue. One expert said that the problem will likely remain for at least another 50 years. Dengue fever showing up in Central Florida. Officials trying to prevent the spread to local mosquito population. Health officials said more than a dozen people have picked up the virus from mosquitoes in the Keys. Doctors say anyone with dengue should stay inside and away from mosquitoes. The mosquitoes that transmit dengue bite during the day. Wasp epidemic warning as pest controllers say perfect breeding conditions have arrived. Wasps could be plaguing for the rest of the summer, according to experts. There's a 231% increase in wasp inquiries in July and early August compared to the 5 previous weeks. Britain's biggest wasp nest was found in a pub attic containing 500,000 wasps. The 16-foot by 15-foot nest was 15 times bigger than the UK average. It was the largest ever found since 1963. With blazing summers, wildfires in one hemisphere, and a deep freeze in the other, is 2010 the year of extreme weather. Indonesian volcano spews lava and gas, 4 feared dead. Eastern U.S. cooks in summer heat. Temperatures reach into the hundreds. With the heat and the humidity combining for a possible heat index of over 110 degrees, the Weather Service issued an excessive heat warning for the first time this year from an area stretching from south of Washington to north of Baltimore. Kansas heat wave has killed 2,000 cattle. New York broils in record 103 as heat wave hits northeast. South Europe hit by extreme heat. Southeastern Europe is reeling from hot weather that has killed more than 30 people and caused economic hardship. On Monday, temperatures of 113 Fahrenheit were recorded in Bulgaria, the hottest since records began. In neighboring Serbia, the agricultural ministry says 30% of the country's annual harvest has been destroyed. UK heatwave may have caused hundreds of deaths. Japan summer heat wave blamed for 66 deaths. A blistering summer heat wave in Japan has sent 15,000 people to the hospital with heat stroke. Russian heat wave kills 5,000 as fires rage out of control, the worst wildfires in decades. Temperatures in Russia have hit records for this time of year on at least 6 occasions in recent weeks. Britons to pay more for a loaf of bread as wheat prices jump. Wheat future jumps to a 22-month high after a severe drought destroyed 1/5 the wheat crop in Russia, one of the world's largest exporters. And now, wildfires are sweeping in to finish off some of the fields that remained after the hottest July for over 130 years. Moscow under a thick smog. Moscow was shrouded in a smoke Friday as authorities warned of a possible radioactive cloud that could form if the wildfires raging in Russia spread to an area contaminated by the Chernobyl accident. If the fire appears there, the radioactive particles could fly away with the smoke, and a new polluted area could appear. The images emerging from Moscow Friday look like they were taken from a doomsday movie. A giant smoke cloud has made the landmarks disappear. Pollution in Moscow, experts warned, is 4 times above safe levels. The fires have destroyed residential houses, military facilities, and a significant shares of Russia's wheat crops, and as of Friday claimed the lives of 52 people. Moscow has already ordered the evacuation of nuclear explosive material from a top-secret facility. Authorities also ordered the removal of missiles and other defense equipment. Deadly cold snap hits Argentina, Uruguay, and Chile. An intense cold front is rearing its head across South America, killing dozens, closing down highways, and killing cattle. At least 26 people have died in Argentina from a combination of exposure to harsh climates, carbon monoxide inhalation, and other factors. In Bolivia, a school was canceled through at least Wednesday as the nation faced 18 deaths due to low temperatures. In the eastern city of Santa Cruz, a normally tropical region, the temperature was at 37 Fahrenheit, which was the lowest reported in nearly 3 decades. Elsewhere in the country, it dropped below freezing. In neighboring countries, authorities say approximately 1,000 cattle have frozen to death. The capital of Chile has turned a sports stadium into a shelter after one reported death linked to exposure. Argentina has colder winter than Antarctica, spurring record power imports. Peru's government declares cold wave emergency. According to official figures, so far this year, at least 409 people have died of pneumonia and ailments related to cold weather, most of them younger than 5 years old. The armed forces were also called upon to carry out civil actions to help those populations vulnerable to the cold. This week, Peru's capital has recorded its lowest temperature in 46 years at 8 centigrade. In Peru's hot and humid Amazon region, temperatures have dropped to as low as 9 centigrade. 14 dead, thousands evacuated in Central Europe floods. German police said nearly 1,500 people have been evacuated, more than 800 homeless after Central African rain. Between July 11th and August 7th, a total of 255 houses were partially or totally destroyed, leaving at least 811 people without shelter. More than 500 hectares of rice and vegetable fields have been destroyed. The river, which sustains 110 million people in the 9 West African states, was flowing at 1,190 cubic meters per second. This is the first time it has hit this level since 1929. A cloudburst followed by flash floods that hit a Himalayan desert region. At least 370 people were injured as gushing water swept away houses, cars, and buses. The thunderstorm followed by heavy downpours which triggered floods and mudslides in many places early Friday, burying houses and toppling power and telecommunication towers. 500 people still remain missing. Asia flooding plunges millions into misery. Worst floods in a decade in China. 30,000 trapped. Floods caused by heavy rains in northeastern China stranded tens of thousands of residents without power on Wednesday, as the worst flooding in more than a decade continued to besiege many areas of the country. About 30,000 residents in one town were trapped in their homes after torrential rains drenched the northeastern province. Around China, a total of 875,000 homes have been destroyed, 9.61 million people have been evacuated, and 22 million acres of crops ruined in this year's flooding alone, according to the State Flood Control Office. The worst flood in Pakistan's history have affected 14 million people, the government disaster agency has said. Loss of human lives and infrastructure has been colossal. The real assessment of damages can only be done when water recedes. 1,500 deaths have been caused by the floods.